Welcome back to Flying Dutchman Cards. Today I got something a little bit different. As you can see here in my office, I have a stack of boxes that were super kind of annoying because I could never get to the one I needed and had to move all of them. So I went to my local Lowe's and I'm going to solve this project. So I picked up some of those project panels, 2 of those, and then some 1x2s and 1x4s. And I'm going to show you what I built. So you can see here that those are the materials that I picked up. 2 of each of those and some glue and some nails that I had back in my shop at my house. The tools that I used for this project were a chop saw, circular saw, hand sander, brad nailer, and an air compressor. But if you don't have those, you could totally do this project with just a handsaw, sandpaper, and hammer. So pretty straightforward. You can see here is the cut list. So we're going to make 4 shelves. One's going to be 24 inches wide, then 3 are going to be a little bit shorter because they're going to be the inside ones. And then we're going to have 4 legs and then 8 rails. And so we're going to put the rails on the legs and then put the shelves on the rails on the legs, and it's going to be awesome. So let's jump in. I'll show you kind of what my process looks like. So this is me cutting the legs. So there's going to be 4 of those. And as you can tell here, measure twice, cut once, always very important with any woodworking. So woodworking is something that I enjoy. I've don't have a ton of tools and don't do a lot of it, but I do enjoy it when I get a chance to. So this was a great project to be able to kind of dust off some of the things that I hadn't used for a little while and put them to good use. So you can see here I'm cutting the rails that are going to go on the legs for our shelves. So I got 8 of those, and then here's our project panels. These are really cool. They're only 4 feet long, so it's easy to throw in your car. You don't need a huge truck or something like that to get these. Pretty reasonable price there. This is also a great reminder. Wear your protection. Make sure if you're using power tools that you know how to use them properly. The other cool part about this is there's really very little waste as part of this project. You can see here I'm just going to cut off since there's 22.5 inches, I only need to cut like 1 inch or 2 off, and really that's the entire waste or the only waste that was in this entire project. So you can see here I'm cutting the second one. One thing that I would recommend if I was going to do this again is wait to measure to cut the top, basically the last shelf, until you're done, just because there could be a little bit of variation, and so just wait till the end and then cut it. You don't need to cut it. So next step, we are on to sanding. I got a hand sander here that I'm just using to go over all the edges and the surfaces, just to take out any scuff marks and saw marks on those. So did the shelves, and now I'm sanding the legs. And then the last section are the rails, so each of those would get sanded up as well, just to make them nice and smooth, and so when you're putting your cards in and out, they're not getting stuck on any wood. So sanding is now complete. The next step is assembly. So how this is going to work is you're going to take 2 of the 1x4s, put them spaced in 12 inches apart, and then there's going to be 4 rails of the 1x2s, and those are going to be the supports for the shelves. And so the spacing for each of those, the shelves are a 1/2 inch thick, so we're going to have a 3 1/4 inch gap at the bottom, and then each of the other 3 gaps are going to be 6 1/4 inches as well. So I'm adding the layout to each of the legs for the rails, and so you can see there, basically just using some wood glue and a brad nailer that I borrowed from my dad to put that together. So, but if you just had a hammer and nails, you could do that as well. Pretty straightforward. And then as I was going, I realized that I made a mistake, and so I grabbed my hammer and took that one off, moved it over, and got it where it needed to be, which was great. And just basically glued up the rest of them. And once I got this one done, I also made the second one, so there's going to be 2 legs that look exactly the same, as you can see here. And once I got all those ready to go, I was kind of trying to figure out how is this all going to go together. So dry fitted a little bit, make sure that my vision had come to fruition, but then started putting the shelves on. One thing to remember is to start at the bottom shelf. If you start at the top, you won't be able to nail each of the shelves. So you want to start at the bottom and nail each of those as you go on the way up. Yeah, so then flipped it over here and to put the next shelf on, and you know, throw the glue on. It's totally going to be fine. You can see here I got a bit of a drip going, but you can just always wipe that up later and sand off any residue that dries. Once I got this one on, I stood it up and I looked at it and I was like, is this gonna work? And then I was like, yeah, it's gonna work, because I'm already halfway done. So it was a little bit wobbly and I was a little worried about that. Once the glue dried, it's totally rock solid. So if you do put it together and it seems a little wobbly, it'll be fine. It probably should have a support on the back, but it's obviously not fine art that we're producing here. So and then the last thing I would suggest is just waiting to cut that last top shelf until you know the exact measurement. So I wish I would have done that, but that's okay. Got assembly complete. So here it is in my office, loaded up with cards, and mostly made this for my shoe boxes to be able to fit that in. So you could fit 9 shoe boxes and 5 800 count boxes, or 35 800 count boxes, or a combination of the two, but that kind of gives you a general idea of the capacity. And then the breakdown on cost, this cost me $32.92 to put together. So pretty inexpensive project and a ton of fun to work on. So I'll post all the links to the materials that I got and the dimensions as well if you want to check it out. And yeah, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.